everything's interesting. I mean, you come out here and I said before, you might stand still, you might walk up to a tree, you might look at the ground, you might look at the sky, you might sit around a fire, you might drive a car. And I think what's omnipresent is the fact that you're in this amazing environment that's really being generous to allow you passage, really. So we went in a straight line today, which was very different to the rather meandering movement that's occupied us for the last few days, whether we were in the car or walking around. But it was just a straight road through the landscape, along the Holland track for a big part, and all of a sudden it was a burnt landscape, and a lot of plants were there. A lot of plants were being born, and a lot were being born from the black host plant that had been destroyed in the fire. So it was a little bit undersea-like. So there was charred remains of the plant, and then with the bright green growth concentrated at the apex of those branches. So it was very much like star-like. And for some, others were just tiny little shoots coming out of the ground. But to see the range of plants growing in their infancy was something else. Of course, when you look at mature plants in an area of high biodiversity, it's overwhelming because the plants have joined to become one mass, really. But this was the very start of that process. So it was just the tiny beginnings. But to see those plants in the infancy with a lot of space around them was really, it was a little bit like a laboratory, you know, where plants are isolated, germinated, and then they form a part of a much more complex whole. Yeah, well, maybe when I think about it, look at a big black burnt landscape and you think, well, everything's been destroyed. But what I was just saying is that it hasn't been destroyed at all. It's all just there, waiting for the next stage. So it's not really a gap, or things haven't really been obliterated. And I think, yeah, that's probably the benefit of seeing those really small plants. It was like starting a painting. The first impressions of the form were being made manifest. Yeah, I mean, you can make up a lot of stuff in the studio or when you're thinking about ideas. I mean, it's very easy to be overly subjective and get carried away with fanciful ideas. But I think what coming out here is that one of the things it does is that fanciful ideas don't really have much place here, you know, because it's too profound and it's balanced on too much of a fine point. I mean, going back to the fire area and how things can change, passing through it so quickly today, how the soil can change, the vegetation can change, it can be burnt, it can be unburnt, it can can be in different stages. So I don't think there's really, what a really important thing that does is that it reminds me that, well, I don't have to make things up, or I just have to try to be attentive to the things that are here. And if anything, then my role is to try to give it some sort of order that can communicate to other people. And if that means that other people feel that it carries an authenticity, then I think that definitely is a bonus, or I think an important outcome. I mean, but that's, I couldn't even begin to say that I could give a comprehensive account of these areas that we've just been through fleetingly. So, yeah, in that way, it's more of an impression. And I hope that that impression is grounded in an authentic experience. So I think that's important.